shop doing a little bit of body work on the 36 Pontiac. And this is the seam where I welded the back half on to the original body. Don't know how many details I've showed about this car, but cut the back half of the car off, and it had the trunk. Found a similar car in Arizona, bought the back half of it, and they shipped it out to me, and I grafted it on this body, made the bottom section of the trunk. And what I've done, you see this aqua color, after I tigged everything up, I went in and laid a thin coat of fiberglass over the weld, and then I'll do the same thing on the other side before I do all the deadliner undercoating on it. All right, let's wipe some Bondo in this area. All right, so carrying on with some more of the body work. This is the rear roll pan. Of course, I loosened up the bolts and everything in this so I could get the body work done, but pull it up a little bit. You can see the new rear roll pan that I made, and it's fitting the fenders really nice. It's fitting this really nice. Of course, I don't have any bolts in it right now. It's barely sitting up there. Move the rear bumper brackets in. Of course, I've just got them mocked up right now, but I pulled the bumper in probably about 6 inches. The bumpers on this car have already been plated, so I've got to be really careful with them. We may send them out and have them replated. Car's going to be probably a lot nicer than the bumpers are. But anyway, getting rear fenders shaped. All the metal work and everything's been done on the rear fenders. This fender and the other fender, I had to put new sections in the bottom. Got all the metal work done on that, so it's ready for some body work. Mainly what I'll do on this is make sure that the new section starts about right here. Made all of this all the way around, and then the deck lid that we used on this project has got some rust on the other side, and a little section I've already got it cut out. All right, if you're new to the channel, then you may have never seen me use the guide coat before. But if you've been around and you know what I'm doing, this will help you find any low spots and high spots that you're working to keep you from working as hard. All right, so right here I've got my 80 grit sandpaper, and I'm going over all of the guide coated areas, and I'm trying to find my low spots and my high spots. All right, so you can still see the guide coat in some of these areas. Sandpaper just barely touches it here. It doesn't touch it here at all. All these little dark spots are low spots. And then this is where I was feeling it right here. But you can see it was a thin coat of fiberglass, which I even sanded back down to a little bit of it. And there's a little bit of steel coming through. And then you can see how thin the body work is. You know, when we get down to the steel, you want to stop. I'll end up high build primer in this, and then we'll guide coat it. But I didn't want to put a whole lot of putty on any of this. You got this body line right here that you don't want to try to build up. You want to try to keep it crisp. All this feels really, really good. See how we made the running boards and got them all fitting the rear fender. Everything's fitting pretty good up underneath here. Still got some metal work to do. These fenders were made in multiple pieces. These are the original front fenders. There's a gas welded seam going down both fenders down through here, and they weren't perfect when they were new, but we're trying to get them as perfect as we can. On the front, if you're familiar with the 36 Pontiac, these holes up here are the original holes for the headlights. I dropped the headlights down about 3.5 inches on both sides. It gave it a much more aggressive look. Got this quarter all done. It's probably going to need one more slight skim coat. Started getting through some metal right here, and I still feel just a little bit. So we're going to try to sorting that out. Plus, when I put the high build primer and stuff on it, it'll get worked out. When it comes to stripping old paint off, first thing I like to do is use the original paint. If it's not 18 coats, use the original paint as a guide to find any kind of dents, major dents, or anything that you can't visibly see. They're going to be left behind just like you would if you were using guide coat. All right, you see the shine here? That's the low spot. The white part is where I'm blocking, and you can see there's 3 of them going across here. 1, 2, 3. Now they may block out. If they block out, then chances are, you know, all we have to do is hit it with a high build primer. But if they don't block out, then it's a dent that's going to have to be fixed, and they're not blocking out. Right there. And that's helping us find these dents and low spots and high spots to where we can dolly them. And I'll dolly them first while there's still paint on there. I'll block it down some more. I'll do some more dolly, some metal finishing, block it down again, and I'm trying to get all the paint gone by sanding on it. If I can do that, it'll take very little body work. A lot of guys are gonna do this, and they're gonna wipe this thing clean with a media, sandblasting, you know, or whatever choice they decide to use. Then they're gonna fill that whole thing from here to here with a glaze of Bondo, unneeded product, unneeded time, and eventually slamming this hood, not slamming the hood, but eventually maybe the heat from the motor and the fatigue of the hood flexing is gonna pop that Bondo off. But if you metal finished it and use this paint as a guide, it's gonna save you a lot of time and a lot of grief down the road, plus the satisfaction of knowing that, you know, what you did. Now, when I run my hand across here, I can feel this one and I can feel this one, but I can't feel these. I can feel this one just a little bit. So more than likely, dolly that just a little bit and those will come out. You don't want to get it high to where now you've got an outie instead of an innie, because then you've stretched the metal and it's going to be hard to get rid of it. Unless you heat it up a little bit, cool it off, heat it up, cool it off, stretch it back down. So it's better to have a little bit of an innie than it is an outie. And you can put some glazing putty over that, or the high build primer will get rid of it. This one right here is gonna have to be worked a little bit, but that's what we're doing, and that's the tip of the day. Feel them. See, this one here is one of the 3 that we were working on. 1, 2, 3. I've already blocked it out most of the way. It's still got a little bit of a low spot, but I believe the primer, a high build primer, is going to take care of that, and probably these areas right here too. The main concerns are the ones that are still shiny. That's still got the original shiny paint on it. This car's been painted before. You can see all the little dolly. I'm gonna have to do a little bit of hammering and dollying on that. And then the high spot, the gray spots will eventually blend in. But you don't want to wipe this whole thing down with Bondo. That would be silly. That's a lot of money. You can see this area right here. I can feel these running my hand across. So this is how I save the customer money and save myself time by using the material that's on here. Now, after these are dollied out and I don't see black anymore, the entire piece will be completely stripped down to bare metal. You're still going to have to prime it and block it with a guide coat and then come back and check it again. But that eliminates some of this and some of the new material that you're having to buy and put on here and just sand off and hit the floor like that. You can work these dents from either side that you want to. Doesn't really matter, you just gotta get them out. long ways. And when you hear it and it starts sounding solid, you're going to start stretching the metal if you go too any further than that. Like leave it like that, like that. On your end, it probably all sounds the same. And we've hit these dents, and we're going to see how much of this paint comes off now that we've dollied it. All right, that one's coming out a little bit. We pretty much got rid of all the black paint right there. We're going to sand it some more. This one here, it still needs to be worked some. So don't want to go any further on that one. Let's try this area up here. Sorry, that was a spider. Take your time. All right, see how much more of that one we got? As far as coming out. The top side is gone. I really can't feel it anymore. And you can see right here, this one that we were working, all of a sudden the putty came through, and this is where somebody had puttied it before, and they didn't try to get that dent out, and they didn't even get all of it out. So we got more of the dent out, and because they filled it, it became a hot spot. And now we're blocking down that. So we're gonna work that. We're gonna hit that one more time. And what we're going to try to do is get it to where that putty's gone, because that putty is now just like the original black paint that was on it. All right, we now have that one out. It's dent-free right here. See, if you don't do it this way, the way you'd have to do it is strip the whole thing down to bare metal, then prime it, then come back with your guide coat and do the exact same thing that I'm doing right now. And you spent money on having all your paint stripped. You spent money on all of the primer that you're going to be sanding off, like I'm sanding this off with. And why not go ahead and use this, get all this work done, and save yourself some money. That's what it's all about. It's about saving money. Everything on this channel. So guys, that's going to be it for today's video. Thanks for coming out in the shop with me. Without you, I never would have got it done. I hope somebody can take away something from today's video. It's not fun watching somebody beat and bang on metal and sand, but it had to be done. And I did it, and you guys helped. So, if you're through watching, get off the couch, get out in the garage, and go build something. Till next time.